And we're back.
Hello.
Hi.
We're here with build 6 of arches, and we've got quite a few people with us tonight, so let's just go ahead and get going though, whenever you're ready, narrator.
Cameron stays curled up on the floor for what feels like a long time. He had ultimately decided that he'd rather watch the harmless pulsating arches dance behind his eyelids, rather than the nightmare the trailer is becoming. Every minute or so, the reality of the situation hits the coyote, and a burst of whimpering gasp escapes his muzzle for a few minutes before fading back into... He would stay down there until his trip was over, but Brian ended up pulling him back to where he was sitting. At this point, the coyote doesn't fight the bear, going limp while his body is pulled along. For a minute, Brian tries to get him to sit in the chair, but eventually just gives up, dropping Cameron next to the table where he just lies on the floor. The coyote listens to the old bear moving around the trailer, though it's barely audible over his own gasping sobs. Eventually, those lumbering, shuffling footsteps come closer, and Cameron knows that the old bear is crouching next, though the coyote still doesn't open his eyes.
Alright, so who do you want to have be Brian this time so Hannah doesn't tear her throat up from having to do multiple characters at once, and narrator is a big ask, so... Seb, are you okay with being Brian?
Sure.
Remember, Brian's a high-pitched character.
No, Toad would delete
No,
my
no,
voice.
no, no. Like, let's be serious.
Yeah.
But
Listen, kid. Since you ain't gotta calm down, you're talking some sense, so got it?
Cameron listens, but doesn't move, afraid to do anything. Then he flinches as a rough, calloused paw grabs up his chin, forcing his mouth open slightly.
And now you guys can see, since the skip is now grayed out, I have not played any of this, so this is all new to me.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, Cameron opens his eyes a bit and almost gasps at the vivid, red lighting, which keeps him distracted until something falls into his mouth. A pill, and Cameron recognizes its distinct bar shape and bitter taste. Brian holds out a cup, a plastic one, that Cameron looks at with undisguised fear.
It's just water.
The old bear gestures at the counter where a gallon jug sits. When Cameron still doesn't move, Brian sighs. Then he gets up, grabs a cup straight out of the sink, and pours it half full before drinking it. Cameron's mouth is as dry as the desert surrounding them, likely due to a combination of fear, and he really does want to swallow the pills to get rid of the taste. So he takes the cup and drinks, swallowing the Xanax, and despite his fear, he drinks until the cup is empty. He vaguely remembers his high school friends telling him to drink water to make his trip less intense. Cameron has the feeling that it probably won't change. Brian takes the cup from the coyote's limp paw, and it takes Cameron a second to realize that the bear is holding out another pill that looks like a small red square.
Now put this one under your tongue.
Cameron stares, trying to figure out if it's just the trip making it look that color, or... Brian sighs again, becoming more impatient.
Broke a third of... I broke a third off the bar I gave you.
But now, Cameron is sure the pill is actually red, and he draws back. A counterfeit pill, and that probably means it's cut with something. Something like opioids.
I don't...
Brian slaps him, the strike coming so fast that the coyote isn't even sure what happened. The sudden, numbing sting on the left side of his face, along with the bright flash of light, very, very familiar, though, and Cameron feels as though he's traveled 7 years in time. His delayed reaction is a surprised gasp as he raises his arms over his face. The bear yanks his arm back down and thrusts the pill at his muzzle. This time, the coyote opens his mouth willingly, maneuvering the pill to sit under. His movements feel almost robotic at this point. To Cameron's immense relief, this seems to satisfy the bear, and Brian gets up from his crouching position, backing away. The coyote sits there a moment, then slowly drags himself under the table, huddling in a corner, tears well up in his eyes again. After going through all that, and knowing that there's plenty more to go through, Cameron longs for Devon more than he ever has before. He waits until the pill dissolves before asking the question that he dreads hearing the answer to.
Is Devon the bear? Is he still alive?
If this giant, violent bear hadn't encountered Devon and Artie, there's no telling what he might have done to them. His heart drops as the bear seems to hesitate.
Please tell me the truth.
Cameron needs to know.
It's fine. He's locked up, but fine.
His tone sounds genuine, and even though Cameron will never trust him, he has to hold on to some hope.
And if I do this for you, you'll let him go too?
That's the plan. He your boyfriend?
Cameron isn't sure how best to respond to that, so he doesn't. Brian shrugs.
Doesn't matter much to me. Just do what I tell you and you'll both be out of here by tomorrow.
It's quiet for a moment, and Brian moves to the other end of the trailer, opening the fridge and doing whatever it is he does. Cameron doesn't bother keeping track.
Let me know if you start seeing shit. Got something to do real quick.
Cameron blurts out the other question, weighing heavily on his mind.
And Arturo? The cat? Is he...
Brian doesn't look back and just sighs again. Cameron doesn't ask any follow-up questions, feeling like he got his answer. The thought that Artie might be gone is too messed up for his drugged-up mind, especially because he feels certain that he can't be gone. Cameron can't explain why, but he just feels it. He feels Dev, and he feels Artie. Brian stands next to the door, holding a plastic water bottle.
Go out for about 5 minutes. I'll be right in the next trailer, so if you try anything, I'll shoot your boyfriend in the front of you, and then I'll kill you, eventually.
Cameron doesn't move. But soon, the trip intensifies, and he hugs himself, the movement making his ribs ache from the earlier. He just watches the shapes elusive.
Oh man, okay. Your mic has been cutting out for a while, but that was a real bad one. It cut out half the sentence this time.
Okay, he just watches the vivid colors and shapes of his hallucinations. Meanwhile, the acid taste of Xanax lingers on his tongue.
Well, we'll find out who this is eventually.
Almost certainly me.
He hadn't felt any pain. He doesn't feel any pain right now, either. Not physically, at least. It's something deeper. It's about who he used to be, who he is now, and who he's about to become. Something profoundly terrible. And it's changed everything. He knows that much at least. What he really wishes to know right now is who the hell he even is. He tries to think back to what he last remembers. Standing in front of everyone in the second grade, his trembling paws holding his book report. He clears his throat, trying to figure out how to put his sentences together in advance. Speak up, Arturo. The whole class needs to hear you.
Oh,
Yep.
interesting.
Mm-hmm. Arturo.
I figured we were going to meet Arturo again when Devin goes. Because Devin said he could feel...
That was
not
Cameron.
Cameron.
Cameron said he could feel Devin, who we know. And he
So-
could feel Arturo.
Sure.
The thing is, I'm also going to point this out. I had a suspicion that Artie might have lived. And the reason why is in the promo stuff for Build 6, it actually is a little ad where it's somebody voicing Artie as he gets the call from Devin, or he got the call from Devin, and it's basically a scene of Artie driving down the road to Echo to pick up Devin and Cameron. So I think this build's going to be very Artie focused, potentially. I just didn't want to say it.
Okay.
Like I said, I hadn't played, I didn't know for certain. I had suspicions, though.
Okay. He opens his eyes.
Oh shit, he is alive! I was wondering if he was just a ghost.
I thought he was too.
Yeah, but how did he end up here? Where are his classmates? Second grade? Or was it third? No, he's positive that he's at least in high school.
But my boy is not dead?
Maybe.
Hooray!
Hooray.
He tries again to remember what happened last. He was sitting in the junior parking lot with his girlfriend. She was upset because another girl at school was being mean to her. She's a Jaguar, sitting in the passenger seat of his beat-up sedan, one of her feet up on the dash, and he's leaning toward her to kiss her on the cheek. What's her name? Sarah Mendoza. Or was it Montoya? Who killed her?
No one killed her father.
My name is Sarah Mendoza. You killed...
Montoya.
You killed Artie.
Montoya.
Montoya. Killed Artie. Prepared to die.
I was gonna say the
Oh, but now he remembers that they didn't last long at all. Maybe only a semester. Probably because he sucks at comforting people.
I mean, she did have that revenge plot to get back at her father's killer.
He does always say the wrong thing at the wrong time. But he still had several girlfriends after her, up until
Alright, who wants to be Artie?
I guess I'll be my boy.
Okay.
Maria?
His voice is so alien, so strange. It startles him a bit. What's even more strange is how hard it is to even say her name. He stutters, and he has to chew around the syllables like he's biting at the letters. As he does, he notices a sour taste in his mouth, and he can smell vomit. Looking at the forest floor in front of his face, and he sees a dried mess of what he's sure is the source of the smell. Bits of something orange and mushy, and chunks of what he recognizes as jerky. Things are starting to come together, but it takes a long time. Maybe even an hour as he goes in and out of consciousness. Maria, Pueblo, Devon, psychology, graduation, behavioral tech, road trip, accident, echo, Cameron, THC cartridge, visions, ghosts, panic, bear, gunshot.
Oh wow, there was something in the background of your mic that
Yeah.
I was tilted at like
Yeah,
one-
I heard that too. I was like, wait, was
I wasn't sure if that
We
was
live
gonna
on
get
a
put.
not super busy road, but enough that every now and then so down it fast.
Yes, it's
And
kind
they're
of
a cool bike.
it's kind of annoying.
It's very annoying.
honestly,
Wow.
it sounded more like a.
Yeah, it was a motorcycle.
Oh jeez.
All right, we'll try that again.
Okay. Cameron, THC cartridge, visions, ghosts, panic, bear, gunshot. Gunshot. He's been shot. It's only now that he realizes his position. Curled up on his side, arms folded up in front of his chest. He tries to move his arms, but like everything else he's trying to do, it's very difficult. His muscles feel unnervingly weak, and every time he moves, it comes with an uncontrollable twitching and trembling. Arturo stares at his paws, watching the tremors, trying to quell the panic. Finally, he slowly manages to sit up. Immediately, dizziness overtakes him, and he has to pause for several seconds before he's sure he's not going to fall back down. Once he's sitting up, his stomach turns and he dry heaves, and that's when he feels the pain. It's not terrible, but the deep, cold throb at the back of his head feels very wrong. With a shaking paw, he reaches back and finally feels the damage. The fur is crusted and matted, becoming a bit damp as he gets closer to the source. His fingers brush over a slight gap, like there's a small crater in his fur. As he presses down, he realizes the crater goes past the fur and past the skin, and that then he feels something oddly hard and almost sharp. Arturo gasps, realizing the stiff, jagged thing he's running a finger over is his broken skull. He jerks his paw away, breathing hard. He was shot in the head. In the head. He remembers deciding to run. Since the shotgun wasn't loaded, But then the bear had taken out another gun, a handgun, and then... How is he alive? How long will he stay alive? Is there a bullet in his brain right now? He knows he needs something, so he tries to ask for it.
I need shelf melt?
He struggles to not stutter, to say the right word that he knows he's trying to use. He knows that this is very, very... Devin was hurt too, maybe even killed. And Cameron, he was already hurt, and it was a monster in his forest that hurt him. The cat brings his knees up to his chest, putting his arms around them like he's a child. He feels like a child, helpless and completely confused as he sits injured in this terrible forest. This must be some kind of awful dream, and he wants to wake up. But even though everything feels unfamiliar, real, dreamlike, he knows this is real. Arturo feels his face crumple as he starts to cry, pushing his forehead against his knees.
I need something.
No, wrong word.
I need someone.
There's some relief as Arturo feels like he's improving, at least a little bit. Maybe this is only temporary? He'd been told several times in his psych and neuroscience courses that the brain is plastic. The fact that he's recalling these memories, making sense of these memories, gives him hope. But there are still certain things, very simple things, that are missing.
Oh, Cameron. Okay.
I almost said this line by accident.
Yeah, no, I was thinking like, oh yeah, that's already way in there. Hold up. Ruined my life.
Arturo jerks his head to look up, heaving again as another wave of dizziness and nausea sweeps through him.
Oh wait, this is probably overlapping back earlier where the freaking Kava scene originally happened.
Oh.
Because remember he says to Brian, "Why did you do that? They ruined shrooms almost ruined my life before."
Okay, yeah.
Cameron?
Oh, that is what's going on. No, Artie, please, boy.
Oh no.
You got shot in the head, my dude. You don't need to be a hero.
No. No. He looked in the...
How is he alive if he got shot in the head?
I mean, I
people
guess...
do, but it's
Yeah.
Our
It's not
psych
very-
friends, though.
Some people do.
I'm sorry for actually asking a legit question.
No, it's fine. Like, it's possible. It's not likely, but it's possible to survive. He really needs immediate medical attention, though. If he did get shot in the head
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. And I mean,
yeah.
well, and I mean, some of the earlier like neuropsych studies were done on like World War II. I think it's like World War II patient folks from like other wars where they'd get like shrapnel and bullets stuck in their head, and so they'd basically like do a bunch of tests with them to see like what it's like. Oh, what skills are actually affected by getting this part of your brain damaged?
Yeah, essentially we would do case studies based on, like, what could we find? So, like, okay, this person had been affected at this part of the brain. Well, we're gonna just test and see, like, what got impacted for them. Because we can't deliberately give brain damage. Obviously, that's unethical.
Yeah, no. Not to people, anyways.
hmm
I'm just gonna say I'm gonna be heartbroken if Artie dies.
I mean,
Again.
Shut up, DJ.
so here's the thing: is I'm not gonna lie, Artie had a lot of death flags on him in the first place. This is interesting, and like the thing is, okay, I'm gonna just say two things. One, the fact that he has a girlfriend that he was planning on marrying, that was the death flag that was like, oh shit. Looking back, yeah, he was slated to die. Him popping back from the dead, while I didn't expect that originally, the trailer for this build made me think, oh, maybe he is not dead, or maybe he's like a ghost or something.
I originally thought he was a ghost.
Yeah, that's what I was originally thinking.
Well, so
but-
Cameron can like connect with the ghosts, so I thought it was gonna be like he can talk to Artie.
Yeah, but the thing is, Cameron's saying he feels that Artie isn't gone. And
Well, not
Cameron
only
does
that-
know the difference between spirits versus people.
Well, and Artie
true.
is and Cameron is feeling no, Artie is feeling pain, and Artie is like
Mhm.
like
Actually,
he does not
this
appear. He does not
weird.
appear.
Well, I mean,
Not
don't forget,
alive.
the spirits have also said, like, in the afterlife, it's nothing but pain.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
For at least the shitty spirits, or, you know, it's been mainly shitty spirits, because there's, like, a
Yeah,
couple
I was
good
gonna say,
spirits
he's
that
mainly-
haven't been all pain.
Yeah,
So-
Cameron has
so
mainly
we-
had people.
Yeah, so we don't know for sure if they're a reliable.
Yeah, they appear to want to. Cameron.
Yeah, there's been at least 3 goodish spirits that I can remember. Like, the girl at the lake, she's one of them. She wasn't always in pain, she just was relaying, this is how I died to Cameron.
Yeah,
And then there was,
trying to help him up.
Yeah, there was also a couple in the forest that were like, hey, I stuck around this long because I wanted to tell someone, watch out for whatever the fuck this thing in the forest is. Alright, I gave my message, I'm out, peace. Like, that's what the spirit in the forest did. So,
So I think he is very much so alive.
It seems
Yeah.
to be for the moment.
I do think Artie is alive right now. But the thing is, Hannah, you would know better than me on this. Artie is not going to have good quality of life after this.
Most likely not. I mean, depending on the case, you can potentially gain a lot of function, but it's not going to be quite before.
Mhm.
And depending on how large that wound is, who knows how much he's going to lose.
It sounds like he got... I hate to say it like this. It sounds like he got lucky. It sounds like it's only a finger in, like, diameter.
It also seems like it was in the
Potentially.
skull brain.
Well,
So
No,
kind
it
of-
said a broken piece of the skull.
so yeah, because he's
I mean, I'm not sure if these
well,
game writers actually.
Yeah. And I mean, yes, and so and it's interesting because it's like the wound's coming from the back of the head, and like, so, and he's having a hard time saying things, which normally that's more kind of the front, like sort of front left side, kind
Yeah.
of. But I mean, but the brain, of course, like all the different areas do kind of interact with each other, so it's maybe possible like you would still have that going on.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly don't know to what if in general people are just having a hard time to speak. And I mean, like, for folks who have strokes and stuff, that typically happens as well, so.
Yeah, I think this is probably also just, like, the trauma of it all. Like, we probably aren't going to see what exactly got impacted until later. Because, like, I feel like, you know, if you got hit in the head with something hard, even if it was, like, just a small swat or whatever, that probably would fuck up at least you talking for a couple hours.
Yeah.
I know I've gotten hit in the head really hard in my life before.
Hmm.
I know
Yeah.
I told you
Remember-
this story.
I had a seizure once from exhaustion, and like I couldn't remember any of my passwords, and one of my eyes wouldn't focus. I could talk fine, but I couldn't walk fast. That was weird. I couldn't figure out how to walk fast anymore.
Andrew, as a person who's grown up and has been taking medication for seizures, I can understand.
Shit.
Yeah. Thankfully for Andrew, it was a one-time thing because it was just
Yep.
overwork and stress, thankfully.
Yeah, I got tested. I'm not prone to seizures. I can still drive. It's all fine.
That's good.
But yeah, oh man. The other thing is, I do think that the people who wrote this probably are keeping in mind like different parts of the brain as well, because they brought up Artie and his background with psychology and that he understands the plasticity of the brain. But I'm also thinking back to Jenna from Echo, and that she was a brain cognitive focused psychologist. So I think that there's either the writer did study psych and focused from the brain cognitive side, or they knew somebody who at least focused a little bit on this. I don't know if they are highly specialized on that, because like I said, this was not my area specialty, but I don't think that they're going to do a disservice, at least, is my hope. So.
Yeah, it seems like they have a general, like, they know in the general sense. I don't know, and again, I don't know, like, like how much they can get down to the nitty-gritty. It seems like they have a general idea of what...
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm very curious to see this, and I also agree with you, Matt. I really do hope Artie makes it to the end, because dude fucking
Don't
lived
kill a
through a
character just
bullet.
for surviving the film again, right?
Unless if their idea is like, oh, he'll be the tragic hero, I'll be like, no!
He might
Not me,
have.
cat.
No, I feel like Devin is being set up to be the tragic hero, right? Because
No,
Devin,
if they kill one of the two of the love interests, that'd be awful too.
yeah, that would be pretty awful.
Oh,
I feel like they want to get payout,
I don't know.
so I
think
actually
that, like,
think all three are going to survive, but it's going to be grungy.
it's gonna be a harrowing experience. I think for them. I think that all three of them are going to leave this changed.
yeah, but... Yeah.
I feel so bad for Artie because, like, I'm not gonna lie, the trailer shows him being just a genuinely good dude. He's like, hey, yeah, sorry, I'm gonna miss the concert tonight. I'm going to pick up Devin and Cameron. Sounds like their car broke down in some no-name town.
Yeah.
And, like, the friend's like, what's the name of this town? Hold up, you're breaking up. I said it's Echo. Hello? Ben? Ben, you there? And it's like, Artie's just genuinely trying to be nice, and he's like, I guess the reception out here sucks. Puts his phone away and just keeps driving. Never once
Like,
realizing that he's driving to his potential downfall. I feel so bad for the guy.
Yeah.
And
Right.
oh man, yeah. I just want to point out the one fatal flaw for them, because they really would have been about to walk the fuck out of this town, is that they went into the woods because Artie had to pee. Whenever anyone has to pee in an Echo game, things are about to go to shit. You all remember Chase's route, or not Chase, Leo's route.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is true.
Never pee in a horror story.
Nope. He's not out in the woods.
Peeing bad.
Yeah.
Holding it is also really bad. It can be fatal.
Well, I mean, no, the situation is like peeing in the woods is always bad. The other time they were hanging out with Kudzu in his trailer, and I think, was it Jenna who was in the bathroom?
Yes.
Oh, and Chase was like, I'm gonna
my
go
screen
outside
turned
and
off for a bit, so I'm gonna actually stop the recording and start a new one real quick.